my short piece is titled How to Travel West. I start at home, bare feet on bare soil. Find my center, then slowly slide off. Let the turn of the planet turn my wheels. Stove, sleeping bag, and solid ground. I settle only to move again. Staccato stagnation. There are no maps. I'm directed by the creases of my palms, the line of an incised channel, the smell of rain. I move south on interstates, looking for the west. This piece is called The Stories We Tell. In Nez Perce history, it is told that human beings came to be after Coyote's imprisonment in the belly of a black monster. Only after Coyote fights the monster with flint knives and fire does the animal world escape from the innards of the beast. Spreading the blood of the slain monster, Coyote creates human civilizations. From the dark belly of the beast, life emerges. This is the history of the West that the Nez Perce remember and tell each other. The history of the West that non-natives recite is comprised of other stories. Stories of the Oregon Trail, gold nuggets, and manifest destiny. Stories are told to remember a place, to remember a time, to teach a lesson. History inevitably leads to the present, and our stories lead us to who we are. Anthropologist Keith Basso describes the stories we tell, stating, quote, "In modern landscapes everywhere, people persist in asking, what happened here? What people make of their places is closely connected to what they make of themselves as members of society and inhabitants of the earth," end quote. The stories of the West tell us who we are as Westerners. Unfortunately, to look at the history of the West is to recite a litany of injustices. The places I have visited this semester sing of natural order muddled by human intervention. Land stolen from Native Americans, water taken from rural communities by distant cities, counties where cows are introduced, and wolves are sent to the non-places with the Native Americans. Unless we, as Westerners, are able to learn from our history, we will continue to write a future of mismanaged land and broken relationships. During the 1940s, 110,000 Japanese Americans were thrown into the belly of a dark monster. Manzanar is 1 square mile of failed apple orchard land, where the American government forced Japanese Americans to live during World War II. While visiting the old internment camp, I could nearly hear the voices of individuals fighting for equal rights, scratching at the innards of the black monster. There was no resolution in Manzanar, only an opening of the gates. 40 years later, our government apologized, but it was too quiet and a generation too late. Actions without consequences, mistakes without reparation, are not values that can persist. To hurt another human, to erode a stream bank, to stop salmon migrations, are not sustainable practices. When finite resources, water, or forgiveness finally run out, we will be left barren. If we can do such injustices to our own kind, the humans who cry out and yell, what are we capable of doing to our silent cohabitants? To the wolves, the soil, the earth, who endure our abuses silently. If the shouts from the dark belly of the monster don't get our attention, how are we going to save the world as Coyote did? The answer is that we won't. We will not be the heroes of our own stories, the clever Coyote saving animals and humans alike, but rather we will become the monster, swallowing up the world into darkness. Our role as Dark Monster has already begun. Humans have started to slowly snuff out species one by one. Owens Lake is one of the most important migratory bird stops in North America, yet Los Angeles' growing water appetite was fed by pumping water out of the lake to the city nearly 300 miles away, without concern for habitat. With the lake bed dry, we lost riparian zones, yellow-billed cuckoos, and willow flycatchers. Likewise, in ranching communities, we tell stories of how cows are more important than wolves. We have chased the wolves from our farmland and chased them into endangerment. We believe we have earned the right to do as we please in these places. We chase everything from its home, people, wolves, and water alike. But I think, eventually, we will look at the world without native species, without water, without preserved land, and we will ask the question we ask of all places: what happened here? At some point, we will finally be correct when we say, we deserve this, and all we are left with is a concrete desert. We must learn to listen to history, to hear those who cry out from the darkness. To become the heroes of our own stories We must learn from our mistakes and free the wolves, the water, and our neighbors from the belly of the monster. Maybe if we tell our stories and their consequences, then our children will be able to learn the lessons we forgot. If we can learn to see the past clearly, maybe then we can change the future. We can live a story where water flows, birds land, and people coexist. All we need is a little fire and flint in the belly of the monster. Perhaps then, like Coyote, we will spring out alive and well.